Hi, I'm Debbie Georgatos, and this is Ladies Can We Talk on the Speak Up America Network. Today, my good friend Drinda Randall is here with me, and we wanted to talk about some of the outcomes or some of the political conversations that happened after this very tragic shooting at an Oregon community college where a young man literally lined up people and asked them, "Are you Christian?" And if they said yes, he shot them in the head. If they said no, he shot them in the knee or some other non-lethal place. And right after that happened, there were a lot of statements from the American left saying this is a gun control issue, and that the entire problem could be solved by making it harder and harder for law-abiding citizens to get guns. So that was the left's reaction, but I want to talk about the cultural reasons something like that would happen. And I want to just start with, why isn't the left, why isn't the media talking about this Oregon situation as a Christian, anti-Christian hate crime? Why isn't it an anti-Christian hate crime? So, Drinda, you obviously read about that case in Oregon. Does it seem like guns are the problem?
No, guns are not the problem, and I don't understand why we can't start talking about mental health issues instead of gun control. The only way to stop a bad guy with a gun is to be a good guy with a gun, and it just doesn't work. I mean, here that Marine is trained and everything else. The one Marine that he charged after the guy got shot 7 times.
I don't even know this part of the story. This is the Oregon case?
Yeah.
The Marine went out and was shot 7 times?
Yeah.
Okay, I didn't even know that part of the story.
And so he charged after him with his body. But just think, he's a trained fighter. He's shown every day of how to defend himself, how to defend others, and how to get the bad guys, but yet he had to use his own body instead of having a gun to be able to protect those 9 sweet babies that are gone now.
Yeah, sweet babies are gone is exactly right. Well, I do think the gun control answer is really bad on the left, and I think many people on the right are pointing out, you know, the points you're making, that the answer is not to disarm or outlaw the arming of law-abiding citizens, but the thing I wanted to get at about this case was this. It is so bizarre that of all the reasons this young man could have had in his mind and his thinking to shoot these people, what he wanted to know is, are you Christian?
Right.
And I think there should be more discussion in this country about what is happening to the respect for, the reverence for the Christian faith, or the lack thereof. In Oregon, that's the place where they had that bakery. It was a Sweet Cakes Bakery. It was owned by Aaron and Melissa Klein. And I don't know if our listeners know about that case, but the basic story was, it's a family-owned bakery. They bake cakes for weddings. They were asked to bake a cake for a same-sex wedding. They declined because their Christian faith tells them that they don't support same-sex weddings. And literally, the state of Oregon drove them out of business. They were found to be in violation of Oregon law because you have to embrace same-sex weddings and marriage, whether you do or not, whatever your faith says. And so that kind of messaging that came, this was over a 2-year or longer than 2-year period, that was in the news all the time, denigrating the idea that Christian values on marriage should matter.
Right. It's unreal. The other thing is that whenever I go to an establishment, or when we walk in and we get poor customer service or we're offended by anything, guess what? There's another bakery or florist or whatever right down the street. And yet here, I didn't know there was such a shortage in Oregon, but I guess there is. But, you know, why not have the conversation of what's going on with Christianity?
Oh, I think it's really important, and your point is exactly right. And I did actually, at one point when I did a show on this subject, I had researched it. There were numerous other bakeries available in this small town in Oregon, and it was not too far away, I believe, from Portland, which has obviously dozens of bakeries. So the real message of this case is, even when you think about it more, it is the advocates for same-sex marriage saying, everybody has to see it our way. Mm-hmm. You can be a Christian baker, but you have to agree how we see marriage. And the problem was the state took the side of the same-sex marriage advocates instead of the side of tolerance.
Right.
Saying, hey, your bakery, you want to say we only do traditional marriage, then other bakers in town can make different decisions. And I think that intolerance thing, it permeates society, because that's not the only case. You were mentioning one a few minutes ago about wedding photographers.
The florist, and then also the florist, the grandmother I think of 7, and she had to be taught a lesson as well, because she wasn't going to do a same-sex marriage. And then also that poor little pizza, Memories Pizza.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you know, I mean, that was another one that all they did was go into an establishment where there was a cross on the wall, and they targeted that. The media targeted that particular facility. And this sweet girl that's 18, I think, at the most, she said, no, we wouldn't do a same-sex marriage. And then she and her whole family were ridiculed and protested and sent hate stuff. And it's just, why are we so intolerant these days not to be open-minded enough to allow all points of view?
Yeah, I just think there's really, you know, we talk often on Ladies Can We Talk about how countries can change, societies can change, and the people who are the most outspoken, the most demanding, tend to get their way unless there's pushback.
Right.
And so in this particular case, this deal in Oregon with this young man shooting and actually choosing to force people to identify their religion and then shooting them if they're Christians, there's a message that I think all of us who love America should take, which is we have to stand up for the notion that America is not a country founded on the separation of church and state. It's not founded on atheism. It's founded on Christian ideas. And it doesn't mean we ever impose them on others. Right. But it does mean we in this Christian culture have to be willing to speak up and say when things are wrong. We have to be able to say, this is America, and our founding is in Christianity, which includes respect for all people and people's willingness, people's choices on religion, but we don't want to marginalize or in any way diminish the role of Christianity in American society. People don't like to say that because they think it makes them sound like complaining too much. I don't want to say Christianity is being persecuted, but it really is. It's a very subtle, your religion doesn't matter message. We could probably talk all day about this because we talk all day all the time, actually. But this is, on Ladies Can We Talk, we try to put out talking points and statements on current events and videos, all with the idea that the job of every American who loves this country is to understand the forces shaping our future, to recognize trends, recognize when events can really shape America's future, and be part of the army of people who speak up for America. In this particular case, speaking up for the idea that we have to defend the right of Christians to actually live their faith and not be forced to do things they don't want, and to push back against the pressure of the American left, of the American media, that continues to try to marginalize Christianity. And instead, we need to be the spokespersons to say Christianity and its lessons and its values have blessed this country. I'm Debbie Georgatos, here with Drinda Randall, and this is Ladies Can We Talk on the Speak Up America Network. Please come back very often. Ladies Can We Talk will have new videos all the time, and we want to inspire you to speak up for America.